Hey everybody, it's Christine with Vital Vessels. You would think being in the organ donation community that I would get a little desensitized to the stories of donation. However, each and every time I'm moved to tears, and it is no different when I received this email the other day telling the story of a kidney donor. And I thought I'd take a moment and I would read that letter to you. My decision to donate a kidney was not spur of the moment, nor was it taken lightly. I first became aware of the need for living donors, especially kidney donors, when I was 23 years old. I moved from New York to Arizona and had read an article by Irma Bombeck, an author, a resident of Arizona, and a person in need of a kidney. Irma's story was very moving, and I was intrigued and wanted to look into it further. Alas, life got in the way. A few years later, I met a woman who became my mentor through the process of donating, who shared her story of how she donated. I again was intrigued and wanted to pursue this further, but I waited a few more years. Fast forward to 2018 when I was scrolling through Facebook and I came upon a request for a kidney. At that moment, I recalled the article I had read so many years ago. I felt called to help if I was able. I remember the day in March of 2018 when, after having read The Great Ask, as it's called when a person in need puts out that call, it was a Saturday afternoon and my husband was watching sports on TV. I came into the living room and I asked him if I wanted to look into donating a kidney, would he mind? I know that sounds weird, but it happened just like that. I then started reading up on the devastating effects of kidney disease and the limited lifestyles of those affected. My husband was taken aback and was, for a brief moment, speechless. He then told me he would support my decision, but I felt he was a bit apprehensive. Later that week, I called the number provided to speak with a living donor patient care coordinator named Marilyn from Banner University Medical Center in Phoenix. Marilyn was very helpful and gave me a brief background on what will occur. My first assignment was to go to the lab and have them take blood samples, 14 vials at once. Wow. About a week later, Marilyn called me to say I was not a match for the person with whom I was testing for. I was very sad, to say the least. I felt I had to do something. Before Marilyn hung up, I inquired if I could please continue testing for someone else who is in need. I received a resounding yes. The testing continued for about a year. During this time, I began to let my family and friends know of my decision, and their response was very encouraging. My brother Christian, after telling the family at dinner, had an amazing response. Christian stated that if one of his daughters or his wife was in need of a kidney and there was no family match, he would want and appreciate someone like me, a stranger, to give unconditionally. This was very powerful. Every few weeks, another lab slip would be emailed to me, and I would have to go to the doctor's office for a particular exam, or I would be asked to give more blood. March of 2019, my husband and I were sitting in the lobby of the Transplant Institute waiting room with Marilyn. The time had come. Marilyn stated she found a recipient for me to pick a surgery date. The first two dates I picked did not work. The first, the surgeon was on vacation, and the second, the surgeon had a respiratory infection. But the date was set, April 2nd, 2019. When the day arrived, I was not nervous and I was actually emotional. I was in the hospital 3 days and I was not told the outcome of the recipient's surgery. I was feeling fine with no lasting effects. It was on the last day I was in the hospital getting ready to leave that Marilyn stated that the recipient's surgery went well, and that was all she could say. I was so relieved and happy. Marilyn had encouraged me previously to write a letter to my recipient and give her the letter, which I had done. The day of my release, Marilyn presented me with the letter from my recipient. I was unable to read it, as tears were welling up. So my husband read the letter, and it was very moving. A month after the surgery, we were invited to meet my recipient, David. We gathered with his family to a room where there were TV crews ready to ask questions. I found out that David's wife was unable to donate to him, so she willingly donated to another person. David and his family, and Walter, my husband, became great friends. We were no longer strangers. David approached Walter and stated that because of what I did, David no longer was on dialysis. I would donate again in a heartbeat. It was a moving experience and one that I will always cherish. I'm an avid hiker and was asked by my surgeon to hold off hiking for about 6 months because the remaining kidney is growing to accommodate the loss, and he did not want me slipping and falling on my back. I listened to his advice. I did not rush my recovery, and about 6 months later resumed hiking. I trained for the Grand Canyon. I hiked and camped below the rim in 2020 and twice in 2021. This November, I turned 62 years young. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Patricia, for the heartfelt email. And thank you for allowing me to read that on Vital Vessels, to share your joy and to share your donation with others. If you're considering organ donation, please take the time to research, check into it, and then sign up. It's an experience that you too will cherish and remember, and you will save lives. Happy holidays from Vital Vessels. Thank you.